Ahoy, my boys, and welcome to Volume 102 of the One Piece Virgin Eggheads Book Club podcast, covering chapters 1026 to 1035 of the Onigashima War. Roof Piece is back, folks, and so are Eggy and I. That's right, Eggy.
That's right, top of minds, just like the finest scales on roofs and youths who are now adults. That's the truth.
In this volume, we have what I think might be Luffy's all-time greatest quote. We'll see if Eggy can identify it. But Eggy, what is your hat opinion?
Well, my hat was this. I think I'm going to say this is just the statement that I had in mind to immediately bring up in the podcast here. So, Sanji versus Queen. As he's going through this horrible identity change. He's trying to think of who he's going to become. He said, am I going to become, quote, a cruel, cold, emotionless warrior of science? And I said, that's a great title. I would like to emblazon that on myself from now on. It is what it is. They say, oh, that's you're saying something that's very offensive. Yeah,
I'm surprised to hear you say that, Eggy, because I feel like that's more of an atheist, like a Reddit atheist fedora tipping title. I'm the warrior of science.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I have some superstitional qualities about me. I have some faith-based affirmations, manifestations. I light incense and I sniff it to make my life dreams come true. But I can't deny when these JPEGs come across my screen from 4chan and they say, here's the real facts and logic. I mean, am I supposed to just not repeatedly send those to minorities and various people who would rather not see them or might find them to be in poor taste?
I don't know what turn this is taking, but I like it. So what's your hat opinion here?
Well, I just, a cruel, cold, emotionless warrior of science. I think I've been referred to this possibly before. But in all seriousness, folks, of course, it could go for anything. I just had a big problem recently where I was arguing the price of sausage on the internet, which garnered hundreds of thousands of likes on social media and has been plastered all across Reddit and all different types of places. So even just such a warrior of food science, when it comes down to the quality of my pork sausage, sometimes it's a little cruel and cold to the sensibilities of the populace. But me and Sanji, we have to realize we're becoming who we are. We're side by side. And you know what? Sometimes we love to be flowery. We love to be delicate, poetic, romantic, dramatic, theatric, all these things. We love this. And that's part of what cooking is too. I feel like cooking is its own science, its own song and dance. But truthfully speaking, sometimes you got to come down to the cruel, cold, scientific warrior stance. To put Sanji in that position as he has, as what's happening here in this part of the story, I just thought that was a particularly poignant piece of literary gold that I clung to for my hat.
Well, the story here is that Sanji was considered a failure of science his whole life, and that he didn't have these latent powers born into him, and that his mom might have saved him from that fate. But now we're finding out, oh, maybe she only delayed it, like the Quaaludes and the Wolf of Wall Street. You take the whole thing thinking that they're dull or duds. Now they're going to kick in later on, and here they seem to be kicking in during the fight against Queen. And that is a real concern that, I'm going to... Now my body will transform to be like my brothers, and while it is cool that every bone in my body can be broken and then fix itself, and then my neck can stop a giant queen sword and shatter it on impact, I mean, this is the biggest direct power increase I've seen happen to a character. I mean, this is utterly insane. But the question is, is Sanji going to lose his humanity, his passion? I mean, the whole arc at the beginning of this war for Sanji was, I'm not going to hit a woman no matter what. I would rather put my female crewmate in danger to protect me because I have faith that she can take care of it. And now he is put to the ultimate test of, I might be becoming like my brothers. And this woman is terrified of me. She thinks I just hit her. And I don't think I did. I don't think I did, but I'm going fucking nuts. Did I actually hit a woman? Eggy, did you fall for it for 1 second? Because we have 6 chapters between the introduction of this mystery and the solution. Did you think Sanji might have struck a woman?
Well, I know he certainly would have not done it intentionally, but Uh, I was inclined to believe that he did not do it. I'm always, like I said, as a warrior of science, I always listen to the facts and logic, and I always hear all sides out equally. But no, I just
Doesn't he reject the science when he takes the Germa black raid suit canister and he fucking shatters it with his foot and says, I could just do all that naturally because I'm based?
for some reason I'm suddenly getting deja vu. I don't know if this was like one of those random things that was brought back up like a thousand chapters ago. For some reason, this is suddenly, I don't know, maybe it's just no reason, but hmm,
With him rejecting the raid canister, like right when they got it, he basically did the same thing, but Luffy and the folks wouldn't let him destroy it. But now we actually physically see him do it. But it seems that these powers are latent, like in his body, so it doesn't even really matter.
yeah, it turns out
That
it
was
was
more
just a costume for
symbolic.
show the whole time. Many such cases, you think you need these training wheels, and well, I guess in this case, it's not really all good for him though, because he was hoping that it was just something that was a like a supplement that could be put on and off. But and on this path to being the greatest of all time, to being a part of the crew of the king of the pirates, it's just one of these things that sometimes you flip a switch on and it cannot be flipped off, and I think that is what is happening here. But I don't know. I mean, it's one thing versus Queen. That's a dinosaur. I don't think he has it in him yet at this point, still to strike a woman. So I think there was a misunderstanding and confusion. So I don't think he did it. I'm saying he's innocent of that
And I mean, we find
charge.
out that Queen did it while he was invisible anyway, so you would be correct,
Yes.
Aggie. Anything
One
else
thing to
from
keep.
this whole Sanji of it all for your hat opinion?
Well, at least Queen getting what he deserves. He will not be able to. I think Sanji, I forget exactly what the quote is, but he says something like he does reference the women's bath once again, and we see Queen in his invisible state at a point as he's getting the Ifrit Jambé directly into his skull. No, you know what? Maybe one thing to say about it: if Sanji, if he's losing a little bit of his yearning, maybe the maybe the women's bath will possibly benefit from that as a result, but obviously still a
Well,
tragedy
I'm a little
for him.
confused because on one hand, it does seem like a noble sacrifice of him saying, "Okay, in destroying this Black Raid Sanji suit here, I'm rejecting the science of my family, and as a consequence, I also cannot fulfill my childhood dream of going invisible and spying on women in the bath." But is it not like literally in the very same little bunch of chapters that Sanji is so fast naturally without even using the raid suit that Queen says, "Oh, he's invisible too, but not from science like me. He's invisible because he's so fucking fast." Is this Sanji's way of saying like, if I'm running around, I can't jerk off to the women, so why even bother? Like, is he really sacrifice? He can still go invisible anyway, right?
Yeah, well, just speculative here. Maybe his raid suit visibility, he might kind of be able to you know, let's say perch perhaps. There's
Yeah.
no reason why he'd be doing that here, but he probably was in there by accident really. Um but
Either way, he's
his
getting
high
like
speed.
he's gonna get a huge nosebleed no matter what, and like go flying back
Okay.
against the wall and be caught by the women. So what does it matter?
That is fair. That's fair. But yeah, probably just the bouncing back and forth between the walls. Maybe it's not as much his satisfaction. But in any case, you do make a very good point that he's probably it's he's gonna need to have that speed to run away from the police after his nosebleed gets him found out as being a peeping tom pervert.
Also, he was like one kiss away from getting married. Maybe he should think about settling down and just peeping on one woman in the shower, as we all do as taken men.
That's right. It can still, it's there's still an element of interest there. What Men's Health Over 50 magazine gives me all the tips and tricks I need, just like that, to
You have a
keep everything
subscription to
interesting.
Men's Health Over 50. That's wishful
Yeah.
thinking, Iggy. You'll be lucky.
Well, it's more like it works for me now. For the average
Your
60-year-old man, it
body's
works for me
aged
now.
to about
So
that.
maybe we'll find a nice catching up here at some point.
Like
But
men's liver over 60 is what you need.
men's liver at the end of days.
Hospice Liver magazine. Aggie, any Luffy quotes in this volume come to mind for my hat opinion, which is all-time greatest Luffy quote. I wish the panel wasn't so small because I want this as a big poster. Maybe somebody has made one.
Um, I would like to say I'll go with one that I think was the most resonant for me, which is Luffy saying, "As long as I'm alive, I have infinite chances."
That's right. Ain't that right, Hardsey? Write that one down.
Hey, I did think. Now I hate to be, as the because I hadn't read into chapter 1031 yet with my favorite new science warrior quote, because I was kind of like, well, well, to be honest, I guess there's really only so many hours in the day, and blah, 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 blah. Cynical. It's a bad way to be. That's why you need some romance, dramatic, theatrical, yearning, etc. Sensitive mindset still in your head, because it is true. As a man who has tried an exorbitantly high amount of times compared to the average populace before just giving up in utter repugnant defeat and miserable failure, it's still fun though. It's fun. It's fun to keep going up to bat. It's nice to kind of win sometimes, because otherwise it's just absolutely cruel and soul destroying. But
It's entertaining for
uh,
somebody out there, though, so at least it has a
that's true.
purpose. A lot of people out
And
there are suffering losses over and over again, and there's not even an audience to point and laugh at it. It's like, man, what'd you even live for?
That's true. He doesn't watch this show, and I won't even say too much anyway. But one of my viewers had his father pass away tragically, and then now about a couple weeks ago, he said that his home burned down with his pets inside, like while he was at work, due to
Ugh.
some kind of like, and so he was staying in a homeless shelter now, and he's not doing so well. So I mean, that's there's real tragedies going on out there, and so for me to suffer some of my more maybe neurotic episodes that aren't actually really tragic except in my own mind, it's kind of like, okay, it's good to kind of count my blessings sometimes. And Luffy, but he's inspiring all of us, from those who have suffered unfathomable tragedy and loss of everybody we know and love, to those of us that are just occasionally losing in video games on a live stream. All spectrums, we can always pick ourselves back up for that victory yet to come.
The moral of the quote here, folks, is throw your one life into imminent danger over and over again, because as long as you don't actually die from it,
What does not kill you makes you stronger, or at least it will take several years for the effects to start settling into your organs, so you have some good time in the meantime.
I think Luffy is forgetting, if this is meant to be inspirational, that we don't all have his main character plot armor, and that sometimes characters in One Piece do die. Here's one that doesn't. How'd you feel when you saw Kinemon's legs run into frame, Aggie?
Uh, I thought to myself, is this a guillotine style effect? They say after they were guillotining them in the French Revolution, that the heads were still looking around like, ah. So I was hoping that wasn't the case. I was hoping, since we saw this man sliced once before, that maybe he could be sliced again. But we did see like a fountain of blood spraying out of him as he's running, which I don't think I remember that happening so much before on Punk Hazard, unless maybe he got dabbed up and was maybe, I don't know. But that was a
Lost
little
power
concerning.
doesn't make you squirt blood, so if the idea is Kinemon thinks he used up a lifetime's worth of luck, and then Kaido just so happens to stab him through in half in the exact spot where Law's op fruit surgery split him in half earlier, so that's why he's not actually taking the damage and survives this. Yeah, you would wonder where all that blood is coming from in the epic panels when he's getting stabbed in half. Because like when they're
Uh, you know,
rearranging his head and stuff, it's not like every time you move the pieces of the op fruit, like blood spurts out. It's like cauterized, basically.
right. Your body gets turned into some kind of tofu block. Well, at least in
At
any
least it was
case,
epic in Volume 100, and we loved it.
that's right. And
But are you disappointed that Kinemon is alive? They have not had the balls to kill him yet.
Well, I I it's tough, I feel like I might just be one of these people like Oda could persuade because we were discussing his incredible, glorious life, and does it cheapen the sacrifice? I'm not really sure because we kind of at this point, if it had been like direct, let's say Luffy was just still getting picked up out of the water, still getting back on his feet, and we had Kinemon and his surviving halves come up before then, before the age progression on Mononosuke, before all that, I think that would have, to me, maybe had a cheapening of the impact. But it's kind of like, okay, we're kind of back on our feet, as it were. His sacrifice, like the obviously would have lived on, still would have been very memorable. But as far as the immediate impact, he would have been getting brushed off into the ocean, and as the rock is burning and blowing up, and all different types of things are going on. So maybe might be at least for the best to I think I could look to the side about it. I'm not. I don't think I'm too upset about it.
Now that we've decided that Kinemon was the S tier Chad, main Chad character of the arc, much like Akiros, that is a character archetype that needs to return from seemingly the dead by the end of the arc, right? I mean, it's just fitting the pattern of being an epic Chad. We thought it was Odin. Odin shows up. Nope, it's fake. Don't fall for that one. Kinemon, we think he's dead for a couple volumes. Hey, let's have him be the Chad. Let him live. Who's gonna help guide 8-year-old brained Momo to be the Shogun of Wano? It can't be fucking Ashura Doji. He's hopefully still dead. Kiku is evidently still alive. Do we believe in the medical expertise of Usopp when he shows up to help these dying samurai?
Generally speaking, I would say that I probably maybe don't, but I think he's very ambitious, right? He's very ambitious. He's ready to grab your bleeding parts and try to like get something together right away. I think honestly and truthfully speaking, I've worked as a first responder at times in my life before, and I think that it is true that like the people who are there and who are the most proactive about the situation, like that is really that what makes all the difference. I'm not gonna lie, because you can just, as long as you're there and you're not moving somebody around who's got like a broken neck and you're pushing them down a hill or something, you're there just putting pressure on a wound, and trying to talk to, even that's keeping them conscious. You're trying to talk to them and keeping the brain functioning. You're keeping things moving. That could, I'm pretty sure it's proven, give you higher chance of survival just to be there. So
That's what he did
remember
with
that.
Kaya. She was a sick girl, and he would just tell her stories. I mean, in a way, he's keeping her from committing suicide at the loss of her parents, right? Something to look forward to. Maybe that, like, he's a therapeutic storytelling doctor in a sense that he'll keep you from killing yourself. I mean, it's working for me so far. It's working in real life.
That's right.
As soon as the story ends, it's goodbye, folks. I hope it has a good ass ending because it's the last thing I'll ever see. No, we got to see Two Piece, of course. We got to see what Boofy is up to. Luffy's son, of course.
I'm sorry, Luroto.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Why not just steal all the names at that point? Like, Boruto will hopefully have ended and be in the dumpster where it belongs. Hey,
30 years from
we have a
now.
couple comments actually that reminded me. DV posted 4 hours ago. He said, "Where the fuck is my bi-weekly Boruto review?" Should I bring that back for the two people that care about it, Heartsy and DV?
DV, I think he was in my chat recently as well, and he wasn't saying that specifically, but just saying, that he's very into everything we have going on. So maybe, he might be the ultimate fan of Boruto as well. How about a one-on-one consulting session? Bring that into the $100 tier and say we'll call you one-on-one, and we can all have a roundtable about it. Real, just mano a mano, just for your
I mean,
own
he's not even
personal
a
enjoyment.
member on this channel. I don't know if he has $100. He's one of the
Yeah.
few non-member commenters.
If he's a true Boruto head, and
Hey, here's another non-member commenter, all the way back on volume 89.
okay.
God of Q says Aggie's take on the Katakuri fight is interesting, not just because it goes against the very accepted adoration for the fight, but because I think he is approaching it correctly and reaching the wrong conclusion, at least as he was being probed in the way he was. Hey, are you blaming me for Aggie's opinions? It feels different from most of the other fights in One Piece, but not in a way that resembles the typical kind of fight seen in other series. Instead, I think it feels like a different style of One Piece-ness as a fight, a style I like more than most of the other fights. So did that clear it up for you, Aggie? Is that your top one fight now?
Well, I can't remember if we had done the most recent movie review before or after that fight. I guess kind of the unusual styling of the one, like while using the One Piece universe that was for the final fight in that most recent film that we had gone back
Movie
over,
6.
Baron Amatsuki or whatever I think was his name. I think, come to think of it, the way that he's talking about it now, and we were calling the Katakuri fight, maybe it had sort of this surreal element to it. You know, we have the dimensional portal thing going on with the mirrors. We have just it's just a very high level of intensity and brutality to it. We kind of have the peanut gallery there with the other sibling waiting to, interfere. It does have some different elements that I suppose don't immediately correlate to me mentally for maybe the average one. I don't remember exactly everything I said at that time, but taking his perspective into account now, my recollection and kind of another recent fight that we had gone over that was a little atypical for the series. I can kind of see where he's coming from. Maybe that does increase my opinion of it overall, but I think still generally speaking, comparatively to even like, another one that comes to mind, the Cracker fight, where it's got just sort of this quirky, um, surreal component to the fight that's what makes it a little more One Piecey to me. Something that's kind of a little bit quirkier, a little bit different, or a little bit maybe you have some of the backstory, the history, the lore, the something to do with poneglyphs or the Void Century or the world government or any of these number of things versus just kind of this raw boom, 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 boom. And I guess this kind of segues into my top of mind if we are at that point.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to say Zoro versus King, really top of mind for me here, kind of for a couple of reasons, but that would be one of them to say that, the grand reveal that the blacksmith that forged Enma was, or Emna, or the, I'm always going to get the name wrong. It's 4 letters. Might as well call it Enema because I'm getting fucked every
Sure.
time they ask it. The master blacksmith who crafted this incredible weapon, the one that could pierce Kaido, was in fact the blacksmith who was the strange old man from Zoro's hometown. Oh my lord. He was right there with the greatest samurai sword crafter of all time. Had no idea. He called him an old fart, an old
And
kook.
this is the grandfather of his waifu. Could have been his potential grandfather in law if she didn't fall down those stairs.
And maybe that adds a little bit more intrigue to the equation here. Now, if this was a secret that was so grand, oh, don't say too much because the Navy might come and the world government's going to come and scoop up the whole island. Kalina, where's the body? Where's the, can we who's in there? Is that an empty coffin? Is that who, I don't know if we have all the answers, all the questions. I'm thinking her name is Tashigi, and she might be working for the Navy. I'm thinking it might be real. I just think we're adding more suspicions in than we are getting answers to some of these old questions.
We know
But
that retarded amnesia works in this world, so maybe falling down the stairs turned her into this Tashigi personality, and maybe one day reuniting with her father, the sensei of the dojo Zoro grew up in, maybe he'll jog her memory and she'll come back, and Zoro can have a happy ending with his waifu.
actually, check this out. Brand new theory. Nobody's ever said this before. I guarantee it. We know that the old man who I should have had his name in front of me. I apologize. Maybe I'll poke it here while I'm doing my thing. He okay. Well, anyway, he is his master blacksmith. Is there a possibility maybe he might know how to work a little bit of glass? Okay, maybe he knows a little something about that. Let me tell you like this. Okay, this Enma, got this thing. It's draining your power. You got to be able to fight the sword. You got to be able to fight the blade. The sword must be tamed by the bearer, I believe is the exact words that are used. What if he knows a little something about eyeglasses? Maybe even not even the glasses. Maybe it's the metal frame. All of a sudden, Kuina oh, the world government's going to come looking for me. We need to find somewhere safe, Queen. I need to find a way to get you out of here under, circumstances that can be believed. Oh, you fell down the stairs. Oh, no, you died. Anyways, here, I'm over in my blacksmith. Here's my magical glasses that when you put these glasses on, they do something to your brain that make you assume a new identity. It's like downloads new firmware or something. So you can, if you even get captured and interrogated and tortured, there's no way you'll pass their polygraphs. I don't fucking know. Something like that. Okay, let's just
I
say.
don't know how you go
But
from
God,
sword crafting to like the intersect from the show
hey,
Chuck.
because this is this part right here that maybe this has some kind of magical imbuity. Okay, imbuity in the in this what do you call them, stems? I don't know, limbs. I'm just saying. Okay, she's putting them on. New identity, put new cloaking going on mentally. Now she's all, wait, I'm Kuina. I mean, I'm not Kuina. I'm Tashigi, and I'm over here now, and I'm training swords, sword combat with the Navy, and da da da. Maybe he's passed her off to Garp real quick. Hey, get over here, Garp. He's got his kind of backdoor knowledge, secret style. Maybe something like that. He's playing a little bit under the cover, under the table with things. Nobody's ever contemplated this, and it's complete insanity. But that's what I'm here for. Okay, think
If
about
we've
it.
had Sabo and Big Mom both have amnesia, why does she have to be brainwashed when falling down the stairs and losing your mind might be a good excuse?
That's fair. I'm totally open to that. But maybe, if this man, he's a master crafter, he can do things magic style that turn your limb. You have to master the hockey and these blades. Maybe he has the ability to imbue something if needed in a pinch, like, all the
Maybe
coming in
he's
the middle of the night.
Vegapunk's brother and just knows a bunch of sciencey shit.
Volume 150, I'm expecting to hear that happen. Thank you, Oda, for retroactively confirming my schizo crackpot theories to be
You
true
think we'll
eventually.
meet Dr. Vegapunk by volume 150?
I presume that he was wherever the current is going on. I thought he was definitely part of it by this point. I mean, we've been
Wouldn't that
talking
be
about him for a
great?
very long time.
Yeah, Oda's really giving us blue balls on Vegapunk. Anything else from the fight? Do you like it that what pterodactyls hunt by pulling their heads fucking back and then it shoots like a laser beam? Like I guess their heads and neck are made of rubber, like Luffy's or something.
Looney Tunes, like, yeah, Looney Tunes rubber band, like slingshot, shockwave. I like that. I would say probably more so the grand reveal of King is well, I won't say true identity. We get a visual of him in any case, and we get a little bit of his background here, that he's of the Lunarian race, who are, in recent times worshipped as gods because they were just so incredibly difficult to really kill or damage in any capacity. Which you might ask yourself, then why have they all gone extinct or whatever? But the concept of a Lunarian race, and then when we get the mask off, and this dude's looking like some kind of Sephiroth tribal tattoo across his face and stuff like that. It really, it might be a little cliche, but I really did. I can't. I like that stuff. I can't help it. A dude with a burning blade, black wings. Like this sort of almost what's the enemy from Fantasy Star Online? There's Baras. I think it's like this mech that as like the shield layers are knocked off, just like more turrets are revealed, and the offensive capacity increases relative to the defensive capacity decreasing. And so that's kind of the idea, like a sort of mechanic similar to that going on here with King. It's a black winged hell spawn from the moon that can do all this crazy stuff and looks the part very much. I'm gonna like that. It's to my tastes. So I thought that was pretty legit.
We now have a lot of information about this Lunarian race, thanks to people like Marco and Queen blabbing about it when King's kind of trying to keep it on the lowdown. Because evidently, just having any information about them, and if you give it to the world government, would they say 100 million berry bounty just on information? So if you're wondering, what happened to these people, it sounds like the government's hunting them down and paying a pretty fucking penny for it. If I recall, did Marco at some point in these volumes say like, "Oh yeah, didn't those people used to live on top of the red wall, the red line?"
I do believe he did say something like that, as I recall. So maybe this is a bit of a. Hmm. what do you call that? I don't think gentrification is probably quite the right word because it's more like they're completely genociding them. So, kind of colonizing the Red Line for the Marijoan Celestial Dragon Empire and saying, "Oh, you Lunarians are here. You magnificent people of incredible, intuition. Let's
Let's say
get him out of here."
hypothetically, Aggie, there's a strip of desert somewhere in the world where these brown desert people lived. They got
Maybe
special
they.
powers from their god, I assume. They love to burst into flames, you could say. But here come the celestial dragons. What group of people in the world have we compared them to? It's any question. But what did
Right.
they invaded this desert strip of land? They said we live here now. We're gonna build our castle here, and we're gonna fucking murder all of you. Get the fuck out. You'll have to read about you in the history books. Queen says, and we're gonna hunt you down and get you all killed. But again, this is, as Otis said in that interview that Best Guy Ever was retweeting, it's just a story for kids, and there's nothing to look into. It's not about anything in the real world.
That's right. I'll say is Lunarian moon. I think that maybe some people that might have lived in a certain place, their religion might have had like a crescent moon type of thing going on. It is what it is.
Oh
And
my
I mean,
god.
celestial dragons. I don't know, but you got Lunarians, celestial dragon. I guess that's more of a star. Maybe some kind of star with a certain amount of points on it or something. Who could really say?
The moon gives the minks superpowers, Aggie. Hmm? An alliance of the moon people against the star people. The sun is a star, right?
Okay, and we got Jinbei with the Sun Pirates, and we know that the Sun
Oh.
Pirates they had to be
Uh-oh.
freed. They had to be freed. Oh my goodness.
Freed
Sun,
from the
moon, and the
tyranny of the
stars. Oh
sun.
my.
Sun versus
Much to
moon.
con.
I mean, that's what the
Oda.
cat and dog were when we met them on Zoo. Okay, we'll have to figure out what all these symbols mean someday. Aggie, we're over half an hour in. I know that you're thirsty. What's the Aggie drink combo of the week? Are we back to alcohol yet?
We sure are. And I spared no expense. I got busted out the blender once again for something extra special. I call this the ripe dragon's blood. Do, 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 do. Working title also the mature blood of the mature blood. What they said that I think they gave a color to the dragon. I don't want to call it the blood of Mononosuke because that's kind of freaky and
This
like
is like
it's
when
weird, right?
Momo bit into Kaido and you like held a mug beneath it and caught all the juices that came out.
Pretty much, yes. This is it's got a bit of a pickly thing going on here. So I have chili, lime, olives, red wine reduction, pickle vodka, and pickle juice all blended to perfection here. It's got a little something forming on top. I think it's probably just some olive pieces. It's real olives going on here. So I can only assume it's going to be fantastic and it's going to be very dragon-like. Time to find out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think which ingredient would make it taste the most good, and none of them are really coming to mind.
Oh, wow, okay. The olives give it like a nice, soft kind of like like rounded. It's not too poignant, which you get like the pickle vodka, the pickle juice is all there. So it's like it kind of rounds off the sharpness of it a little bit. It's really good. It kind of reminds me of like I'm not even sure. I'm not sure what to compare it to because it's like mm, it's really delicious though. It's like so then I got this like chili lime stuff in here too. And it's a little bit of heat, but then the lime is kind of like a little bit of fruitiness in there.
How many shots of, you said, vodka are in there?
We're taking it easy, just one today, so
Okay.
it's not particularly alcoholic. Although it's so delicious, I'm about to drink it. So the whole thing right now, I might get a little buzz off it.
Wow, it's delicious. Wow, okay.
It is. Gosh, it's just so. Hmm, it's. I'm trying to think what to compare it to. It's just it's so different from anything I've ever had before. Because it's tangy, pickly, but it's also kind of the olive is almost like a little bit meaty in there, kind of meaty, soft, rounded with like kind of a nice sort of like fatty, meaty kind of like thing on it that kind of like I said, it's not oily at all. It just rounds off that bitter or that sharpness perfectly. You got like a warm fruitiness from the chili lime. Um, this might be one of my most favorite things I've ever consumed. It's not
Oh
anything
my
normal
god,
at all.
that can't be.
But
That can't
but
be.
no, it's just like it's a delicious savory treat. It's like when you go for our Easter Thanksgiving stuff, we'll have like olives and pickles out on like a plate with cheese and meat and crackers and stuff like that. It's kind of like God, it's just so good. Mm.
The Iowa State Fair is launching in early August. Should we set up a booth and sell this to people as Eggy's Dragon Juice?
Honestly, I think this one it's got something to it. It's almost it's hard to really describe, but it's savory, salty, a little sweet, a little fruity. I guess it just checks all the boxes, even though nothing's really like crazy about it. Maybe that's part of why it just tastes so good and feels so good to consume.
The only time I want my drink to have like a savory, meaty flavor is when I'm swallowing my own cum.
Uh, well, we've all done that before. I'm not really getting notes of
It's
that
called
here, Steve.
recycling, of course. Yes.
Right.
No notes have come, says Eggy. Well, that's a S tier review if I've ever heard one before. Eggy's Dragon Juice. Let us know in the comments if you try that one at home.
Yep. Pickle juice, pickle vodka, olives, a little bit of chili, a little bit of lime.
A little
And
bit of chili. Like chili
red wine
powder or
reduction.
chili like with beans?
It was like a little bit like diced red chilies.
Okay.
It's like a little, maybe about
God
like
damn, he's putting everything in.
maybe like 2 teaspoons of diced red chilies.
And if you have Wendy's chili, pour a little bit in there too, because I mean, if I recall, we did some food hacks where we did that, and it was fucking delicious as hell. What was the Wings of Redemption challenge? And it was like a Salisbury steak TV dinner, a Wendy's chili, just so delicious to drink. Would you consider soup to be a beverage or like a food?
Well, based on my trajectory, I would. I think I've definitely put it in the beverage category, but it kind of depends. Soup is really such a wide spectrum.
Yeah.
I think realistically, I have to say it's a food, but the way I treat it is a beverage.
When we go to Olive Garden together and they give us fucking watery soup and that has like one little piece of chicken and one little dumpling in it, so that's basically a liquid. They give you 2 pieces of solid in there. Eggy, I want to travel back in time to the Sanji and Queen top of hat discussion because there's a few parts we missed.
Sure.
Queen, he's really showing off. He's using all of Sanji's brother's signature moves against him just to prove that he is the scientific superior mind to stupid judge. And Sanji says, "Hey, I warned you, don't say their names, man. I don't want to hear those people's names. They're not my family." And Queen says, "Oh, so there's no such thing as freedom of speech anymore?" The most based villain of all time. Not even a villain. What's he doing wrong? Protecting his epic party? He's the DJ of this epic party and these people are destroying it?
This might be a top fight for, I mean, really it shouldn't, like, just based on the action, it's okay. I mean, it's good, but yeah, like the dialogue here and like the setup from that point till now, I have to say I've really enjoyed it quite a bit. It's definitely resonating with me.
If we think through the Sanji fights, is it the best one, Sanji versus Queen? I mean, and even Zoro versus King might have a thought there. I mean, Bon Clay was fun, but it was kind of a mirror match. They're just fucking kicking at each other.
Sanji fought Absalom in Thriller Bark. I guess that was quite a while ago, though, right?
It doesn't matter how long ago it was, but I'd say the fight was nothing that memorable, maybe.
That's fair. I also did like, as this is going on here, that Sanji slipped his transponder snail into Zoro's belt after he was getting healed. And just on account of the fact that he's feeling himself become less of a sensitive gentleman gamer and he's turning more into a cold, hard, rational YouTube internet debater, aka, fact and logic man. He said, "If I'm not in my right mind, I want you to kill me, Zoro." Oh, my Lord. Well, that's fair. And he says, "Okay, well, just don't die yet. Then, fuck it. All right, if you want to, I'll kill you. Just, hold it down for now."
Is that not the ultimate like resolution to the character arc built up between these two? They constantly hate each other and are constantly fighting, but there's also that, family, brotherly love beneath the surface that they never actually show, but it's there. Like when Zoro replies, "Oh, well, you better survive this fight so I can kill you," what he's really saying is like, stay safe, go win, don't die. when what he's saying out loud is, "I want to be able to kill you." But
Right.
imagine that Sanji actually does lose his humanity here, and Zoro does have to kill him out of like a love and respect. That would be a very funny ending to their characters. Like it fulfills their constant fighting and their secret affection in like the most One Piece extreme unnecessary way.
Yeah, I don't think I could see any kind of circumstance where Zoro would actually decide to kill Sanji. I mean, they've had some times where they've really hated each other, or it's kind of gone like it's burned pretty brightly. But
Now he has
uh,
permission. I mean, if it's being set up here and it doesn't resolve in this arc, could it in the future? I mean, these latent abilities might keep unlocking and really take over Sanji's mind in the final arc. And Zoro has
that's
to
true.
protect Luffy. Because we know damn
Sanji
well
becomes
Luffy's not fighting back against Sanji. We've seen that happen.
Sanji leaves the crew because he turns into like Giga Incel Hitler. Like he's at like actually his peak, his ceiling is higher than all the other siblings and his own father combined. And since no woman's given him the love back that he's showing, he just can't help himself. It just automatically progresses that way. Then he ends up becoming the final villain of One Piece. Like he splits
Ooh,
off from the crew
okay.
into he's like he just absorbs so much power. I don't know how he could really, but maybe it's just the science. We're trusting the science. Maybe his
Right.
ceiling just ends up being at the ultimate peak of all existence because of this genetic manipulation. Could be some Kino
Oda
though.
reads Elliot Rogers' manifesto, My Twisted World, and he's taking notes on, oh, okay, concentration camps for women, brilliant. Okay, Sanji's going to do that, and he'll just fulfill Elliot's vision completely. What if Elliot Roger was actually the son of Hitler, and in some random Asian broad? Like that's an escalation of his power level for sure. I would love it if Sanji was the final boss, and then he killed
Hitler was
Zoro.
over. He was meeting up with his allies in like 1940, and he met a nice lady, and hidden behind the scenes until now. Wah, wah,
He
wah.
hacks into Frankie's brain as a cyborg, and Frankie joins them as like the Terminator, and he's like chasing down the crew and killing them. Let's make the end of
Sanji and
One Piece
Vegapunk.
as grimdark and edgy as humanly possible, please. That'd be so funny.
Allegedly, I'm hearing some allegations, some inference that maybe Vegapunk isn't a part of the story yet. Maybe Vegapunk comes out of the shadows. Oh, young Vinsmoke, I've got just the thing that some new technology to show you. And
He's like a Nazi
yeah,
scientist. Maybe,
all
maybe.
possibilities, and it's all in the future. So Oda can hear this right now, and
Yep.
anything's possible. Just like Luffy said, as long as you're alive, there's infinite chances, there's
Hmm.
infinite possibilities, as long as Oda's putting pen to the paper.
As long as One Piece hasn't said the end, literally anything could happen in the story. That's why we like to read it. Because most
That's
of the
right.
things that happen, I doubt we ever would have predicted. It's just Otis comes up with the crazy shit and throws it in, and all. That's why you can't scoff too hard at any One Piece theory if somebody's being earnest, because hey, you might look like the fool down the road. Anything could happen. Did I have a top of mind, Aggie? Probably not.
I don't think you'd gotten to one of, if I recall.
What else do we got here? We were hoping for what Luffy, Yamato, and Momo 3v1 against Kaido, but very quickly they're like, you know what? Luffy wants a 1v1. Let's send Momo to try to hold up the island with his own clouds, I guess, to fight against Kaido's clouds. Which I mean, fuck, he just became a dragon. Good luck with that. We'll need another epic miracle for this one.
Hmm.
And Yamato decides to go inside and stop the bombs just in time because in seemingly his dying moments here, Kanjuro has drawn up a giant flaming demon ghost monster to go set off the bombs and explode the entire island up in the sky and kill everybody. Have the stakes ever been this high, Eggy? I mean, this is like the most epic set piece Oda's ever thought of.
Yeah, absolutely no way. I mean, like I've probably compared. I guess we just only got brought to our attention, I think, in this volume that there was just, oh, by the way, at the bottom of the island, there's a stockpile of like enough explosives to destroy everything that exists. I don't think we knew that before, if I seem to recall, but um, we had the bomb at Alabasta that could have dealt some damage, but I think this one was basically that on steroids. Double XL, super size like McDonald's fries. Uh, it has to be the highest stakes of all time. Yeah, for Kanjuro, I mean, to be this total asshole that we just absolutely despise now, but he's just in his last bit of life, drop this Super Mario bomb fire villain that just like slowly like down to the bombs and everything. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and he can go through the walls and the floor and the ceiling, so it's unfair for poor Yamato having to take the stairs and all that. Another top of mind that I was actually looking for was Eggy's favorite supporting supernova characters have some amazing performances here. Killer comes up with a brilliant idea of, oh, all the pain ideal transfers to my captain. Oh, and the son of a bitch is fucking slamming his face against the wall like a retard to give my captain a migraine. First of all, Killer's epic moment, he says, hey, just kill me and stop hurting kid. Extremely epic moment here. Zoro-esque moment. Trade my life for my captain's safety. But then the strategy of, I'll just chop off the arm that my captain doesn't have, and now you're missing your arm and bleeding out. Fuck you. And then also I'll cut your scarecrow in half. We don't even need the flames of the castle to take care of it. I'll just chop it up. Has Killer risen in your estimation, Eggy, or was he already this high to begin with?
Well, I kind of like the energy he was coming with last volume, and I suppose maybe in his mind there he might have had some great some things in mind, but I don't know. I don't think I really ever liked Hawkins to begin with. Something about him was just off-putting to me. Like he might have been one of my less favorite supernova characters here, along with Jewelry Bonnie. I think those two are like my least favorites. But so to kind of see him when I felt like he's getting what he deserves for after some time now, especially since we've known him to be on the bad guy's side since we've been in Wano. And just for him to like his last thing that he does after he has his arm chopped off is trust in the cards, and he pulls the tower card, which I know most exceptionally from all of our favorite video game of all time, The Binding of Isaac, which features the tower card. And when you play the tower card as your active item in Binding of Isaac, it fills the room full of detonating explosives.
Oh, okay.
So kind of just this. I know there's the actual meaning of the card here. It says the collapse of the old and brittle, a new way forward. And I suppose that's maybe in Binding of Isaac it means like it blow up the entire room to bring about something new. But Hawk, I mean, just to still be on this drawing card stuff as he's being slashed, and
in my opinion, this is the most Naruto style fight in One Piece, down to like the clever defeat of like, okay, I'll just chop off that arm then. Like this, if you love the fight choreography in One Piece, just read the Killer and Hawkins fight, or in Naruto, I mean. But anyway, so him defeating one of the characters that you hate is not raising him to like S tier level for you.
No, I mean, yeah, I would say that he's got the right kind of energy. He's never changed up. He's been badass this whole time.
He's got a Joker laugh about society now.
Yeah.
Literally me.
Yeah, I think he this might put Killer at the top because Apu, he's over here trying to,
I also wanted to bring up Apu.
Negotiate.
Yeah, I mean, Apu, he's such a snake. He is not loyal to Kaido. He's like, okay, let's just start our own thing and see who wins. But when CP0 gets involved, these elite government assassins, they literally finger pistol Charlie Kirk Apu in the neck. He gets Charlie Kirked with a finger pistol by an elite tier character and then still is fine and blows him up with his sonic explosion. This dude has had, 10 different fatal blows against him? He's like, nah, I have armament hockey, dude. Like, come on. This dude couldn't tell that he wasn't piercing my throat with his finger somehow. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I wonder how. I mean, I guess maybe with armament hockey, it feels like you're really deep in there. I don't know.
But as an Apu lover, Eggy, maybe we should say there is no problem with Apu. Maybe he's fucking based and durable as shit and cool. And now him and Diaz Drake teaming up against the government agents. after deciding not to team up earlier. Like, you know what? I hate you. I'm not going to team up with you. But against the government, I guess let's put all of our differences aside. Is that what Oda's telling us here? All of us should be like Apu and Diaz Drake and say, hey, despite everything, we know who the true enemy is. This is some real Kino.
It's true. It's kind of a when you look at it in the fact that they were loyal to one side. Oh wait, no, this isn't the right. This isn't. It's not working out. Hold up. Loyalty. Loyalty is a good thing. I think really at the end of the day, but sometimes people need to understand that they need to have a little bit of free thinking going on. There's this idea goes back since the dawn of time that we're honor bound and we have these codes. That's great. It's fantastic. That is how it should be. However, sometimes you have the government playing a lot of tricks and doing a lot of bad, sneaky things. And they certainly have the only code that they have is just to continue to kill you and just basically desecrate your memory, your corpse, your history, literally delete centuries out of your own history and existence for their own benefit. Take all your land and like fly up into the sky and enslave you and make you walk around on your knuckles while they ride on your back and punch you in the back of the head until they kill you just for fun. Listen, we love all that good honor and everything like that. We might need to do a couple things, as Oda is telling us here, and this is all obviously a fictional tale that we're recounting here. We might have to do a couple of things that maybe aren't so beautiful to kind of get a couple, dirty elements washed out of the picture here. Then we can get back to what we know, what's really our basic instincts to abide to after we get some of that dirt washed away. So I think that's what Oda's kind of helping us understand here is that at the end of the day, don't just do something very stupid because you think it's lay good because of something that doesn't exist anymore. Just go with what makes sense. What makes sense is to look out for yourself and to keep yourself going so you can have more chances, infinite chances when you're alive. Let's go.
Have you heard of the new Uwe Boll film, Citizen Vigilante?
I've heard that it is quite a scandalous picture that is at least relatively entertaining, if nothing else.
The theme, at the very least, is, hey, forget about what the law says. Just think about your own sense of justice and if justice has been served. And if not, become the embodiment of it by any means necessary. And regardless of your political stances, that should be a beautiful message we can all agree with is, become human karma if the world is unfair. I watched it and it was terrible. And I saw Lores also watched it, so maybe I'll ask him if we should do a foursome review of it. Because I've interviewed Uwe Boll before, and I might be saying his name wrong even after meeting him, but it would be in line with the Is It Kino lore.
Yeah, I think I haven't had a chance to see it yet. I was going to grab a copy of it and do a watch along on a live stream.
That would be great.
And also, as I was doing that, that's when I saw his tweet. He had a tweet that came out. And he said, like, oh, well, if you want me to make more movies, I had to put all my money into this myself. So you better not be pirating it. You must please buy and pay. Oops. And they're like, well, people were replying like, well, I don't really like buy Blu-rays. Can I just donate money to you? And he's like, that is not the way of the artist. No, I'm not going to take your charity or pity. Buy my film.
What a homo. That's why I don't go on Twitter. I don't have to have my opinion of a great man ruined by reading his direct words. I can just watch his movie and separate the art from the artist like anybody with an IQ over 80 can and should do.
Exactly. It probably was a Google Translate error or something, maybe, if he understood.
No, based on the dialogue in the film that poor Armie Hammer has to say out loud, this dude's grasp of English is like 90% there. 90%. Should we go through the volume chronologically now that we're 54 minutes in, Aggie? And we've covered most of this. We'll go through it real quick. I mean, if we covered all of the Sanji fight already, that's half the volume. But we do get a little bit of Momo fighting Kaido. Luffy eggs him up into biting Kaido, and we get a funny shot of Kaido going, "Ah, fuck!" as a giant dragon bites his ass, pretty much. And Luffy says to Momo, "Hey, now that you've bitten an emperor of the sea, you have nothing to be afraid of in the whole world, huh? And I guess this helps him overcome his fear of heights that he got when Kaido was burning down his castle and holding him up over the land.
Mm.
So, great resolution to an arc that began fucking 400 chapters ago. We found out Momo had a fear of heights.
That is true. I also like how the explanation for these, the way that a dragon moves is that it seems to essentially be the same way that Doflamingo was able to string from cloud to cloud and kind of like quote unquote fly that way. Is that I guess dragons are basically like chaining these flame clouds, and then they kind of just like go through like cloud to cloud. So interesting. I wonder if there's something in Japanese culture that is like related to clouds, because then also we have the combat splitting the clouds, and they're like, oh, this is just like the last time that the heavens were split was
Well, I think that's a clever moment because we see over and over again when two characters have conquerors hockey and they clash with each other, it'll make the clouds above them part, like as if the heavens are splitting. And when that happens here, Oda sets up that dog and cat who are fighting Jack and Perospero. They're losing the fight all of a sudden because all the dragon nonsense has clouded the sky and they can't see the full moon anymore. They're fucked. Perospero is about to get another notch in his belt. Proof from the heavens themselves that Pedro got what he had coming and Perospero is not to blame. But in Oda's genius, he says, hey, Luffy is saving his companions even when he's a fucking mile away up on top of this giant castle skull. Because when he clashes with Kaido, conquerors clash, parting the skies, the moon is back. The animals can wake up Sulong and fucking win their fights. And I am very sad to report, folks, Perospero has been defeated. Complete fucking horseshit.
His dear pastry-loving father, you may never see him again. You know what? The end of an era. How are they gonna candy surf back to Whole Cake Island? They're gonna need to figure something out, I suppose. Maybe they'll be able to keep on flying the island.
I mean, he's probably alive, but I mean, he doesn't get to just blindly shoot arrows at everybody in the battlefield now, like an asshole.
Well, I guess I should know. I should have known this instinctively, but it was when Roger and Whitebeard had combat was the time that they reference here that splits the heavens. But as once again, hashtag Science Warrior, it was probably the barometric pressure was affected when the grand amount of force that was exuded by both parties then caused the shift in the air pressure, which then pushed the clouds away and unveiled the moon for the people of Zoo to be able to use their special Sulong powers and win for the good guys. Hashtag fact check.
Yeah, that's about how intelligent most One Piece fans are, and they're approaching it with that level of scientific intrigue.
That's right.
Hey, what do you think of this? You find out, as Kaido weakens, so does his strength on holding up the fucking island that we're all on. So even if we beat Kaido in this fight, the island will just crash to the ground and we'll all explode from the bombs. And that's before we find out it'll be Momo's mission to try to prevent this from happening. But I mean, that's pretty high stakes. Like, even if you win a fight against the toughest dude in the whole world, you're still dead. Like, fuck you, figure something out.
Well, I guess it harkens back to what he had said before, like, oh, wait, kill literally everybody. I'll just find new slaves. It's okay. Who cares if literally everybody dies? I don't know if there maybe would be a point where this would be not the most optimal strategy when it is your castle that's being dropping from the sky and it's full of explosives and like your capital of where everything has been based around your. I guess you could rebuild, but yeah, it seems a bit suicidal, I guess. I know they got some real kamikaze stuff, but just more of a pain for all of our heroes, more of a pain in the ass that they have to deal with. Because
makes the set piece more exciting. Like, even if we win, we lose, and we have to find a creative solution here. What's it called in Smash Bros when you're falling off and then like you use, is it a down B usually that helps you thrust back up onto the stage?
I think it's up B, because you'll have like your Y like a double jump, and then so you can be like huh, huh, huh.
Well, we have Zoro using his up Bs here when he's falling off of Onigashima. He uses his swords to thrust himself back up. Does your scientific intellect say that this makes sense? Can you thrust swords so hard that you go flying up into the air?
I think if you were to put them behind you as like some kind of propulsion, like a whoosh, I still don't think the surface area or momentum should be enough, realistically, considering that Zoro, he keeps on getting more and more buff constantly, as the story progresses. He's pretty up there now. He's pretty wide, although the shot of him with like him and Frankie, like Frankie looks like he's like 20 feet wide across. I forget exactly which chapter that is here in this volume, but we are getting wider. Let's just say that, but maybe he could like have his lat muscles as like wings. Maybe not so scientifically proven yet. I'll have to contemplate it a little bit more. But in any case, yeah, I'm glad that he found something because that was pretty scary. I thought for a second there he might really be going down all the way to like the water. He doesn't have a devil fruit, so it wouldn't instantly kill him necessarily. But I thought he was
When
going down.
Rob Lucci threw him in Water 7, I mean, they went pretty high. They arced pretty far across the city. So I don't know if he even takes fall damage like that, especially into supposedly water. But I guess now they're 5 minutes from the Flower Capital, so I guess it would be onto land, which is not that good. But do you want to take us through Zoro versus King a little bit since we went through all of Sanji versus Queen?
Yeah. So King, he's basically still at this point, when we come in, he's just kind of this menacing pterodactyl figure. He's at first he's not doing the old face stretch cannon here. He's just coming aerial blasting, just like super speed, super powerful.
It's like the
And
Captain Kuro cat out of the bag technique, where he's even attacking his own crew because he's so fast he can't even control what he's doing.
so I at first, I mean, I'm gonna trust Zoro just in general, of course, anyway that he's gonna get something figured out. But I mean, the way that he was uh and King was coming in left a little bit of a concern.
He's getting
But
thrown around a lot. Has to be caught by Frankie.
mm, but the slash blocking with his wings, it kind of remind. I guess that's kind of just the idea here is as it goes through is yeah, this sort of almost like a form change, like from this defensive. I guess I kind of had mentioned that before.
I think it's fun that Zoro, he's like, okay, if I want to defeat this guy, I have to figure out his race. And we have this running joke of Zoro, the black pirate hunter, I guess. He's always going after minorities, always picking fights with blacks. And as soon as this motherfucker takes off his mask and we see his nice brown skin, suddenly Zoro knows how to fucking obliterate him.
It is kind of an unusual as have we like had it put out really this just matter of factly before? Like, is there an intrinsic thing that he's mentioned here? Because I mean, I don't know if it's a part of his like any established swordsmanship that this should be. I mean, really, you're looking for the body language, the kind of the move set, a weak point here, something, and obviously there's not a lot of obvious weaknesses that are coming through for King, but I mean, yeah, it's kind of reminds me of like beast lore and is a concept in like Dungeons and Dragons or something where just to know the race or species that like automatically will infer to you some of the defensive and offensive capabilities of somebody will help you get an idea of what their like elemental weaknesses could be. So maybe the burning that is constantly ongoing here for King that doesn't seem to necessarily be a part of any of his you know, relative move set or anything like that. That could be inferred from as part of his elemental weakness, perhaps, but we don't really get, it's not something that's really existing in One Piece to have like elemental imbued weapons or anything like that, or even other than like fire. You have your, that for physical attacks, and then maybe ice without Kiji and everything. But It's moving a little bit away from it. Um,
Yeah, when is the last time Zoro fought somebody whose race was specific and he had to like solve it like a mystery to defeat them? Because the way he's talking out loud here is like this has happened before. Like if I could just figure out his race, I'll know how to beat him.
I mean, it's non-canonically in the Long Ring, Long Road. I think from the One Wing, I guess Long Ring, Long Road, right? From the anime when they have like the soccer match or whatever versus the Giants, because he doesn't really have anything like that um, that I can think of that's where it's ever relevant. Um, but I do enjoy, that the kind of the turning point here of sorts with everything else going on is Zoro getting inspired again at the end of 1033 after seeing King not caring at all what's going on with his collateral damage. He's got Luffy re-inspiring him. He's kind of it gets you resettled because after all the bouncing around, the shooting around, treating Zoro like a ping pong ball, his defensive capabilities are too immense. Not really being able to get a good taste of how he should be approaching it here. That's sort of the good old fashioned bouncing off point here to get it re-inspired by Luffy helps him get his offensive mojo back a bit. Enma is giving him some tough times, but he's able to get a grip on it, swing it back and forth after his flashback that we mentioned, back to the East Blue. He's able to kind of temper his mind. Goes to show, the mind can be just as important in the physical aspect of combat. You got to have everything working for you, and then that's when we get the great racial reveal, which then is exactly what Zoro needs. It's like the multiple punch. The Luffy, he's helping me out. Okay, wait a second. Now I'm able to have this flashback. I'm coming to the realization that this blade that I'm finding here in Wano was crafted by somebody I knew my entire life, all the way back, the grandfather of the woman who's inspired me since day one. So that's like boom, boom. And then as soon as he gets a taste that the man he's fighting might be of a race that is darker than his own, that seems to be like the trifecta. For
Well, it's
whatever
like
reason,
in Sanji's fight when he finds out Queen invisibly attacked a woman. Like that's the fiery motivation for him to do a 10 combo attack and finish him off and send him flying off the island. For Zoro, he finds out that the dude's black, and that's exactly what he needs to have the same inspiration to win. And that is literally, yeah, what happened in the narrative of the story. I think that's really beautiful of Oda to write.
I wonder, is Zoro having a little bit of like a military coding? And he started off as a pirate hunter, so he was kind of, even though he's not officially with the military, he was kind of on their side. Now he's like, oh, wait a second, you're this race that's being systematically genocided for the profit of the rulers of the world. Well, that tells me exactly how I need to do to wipe you out as well. He's the voice of Usopp is like, well, hey, I didn't, I'm just gonna leave you guys anyway. It's on my water 7, and he's like, well, listen, the way Usopp looks, now that I think about it, yeah, I guess he's gonna be insubordinate. He can go fuck off. We're probably, if I were to crunch some numbers over here with Science Warrior Sanji, maybe if you look at these JPEGs, we might be better
Sanji's
off.
got all the stats from the FBI. I was about to say something, but I almost lost it. Let's see. Anyway, we got King's flashback. It was written kind of like sympathetically and heroically for King and Kaido, right? Like due to his Lunarian race, he's being experimented on and tortured by the government to see what he can endure. Kaido is just fucking breaking through the facility and says, "Hey, I'm gonna free you. You can be my first mate, my right hand man. You're Lunarian. I need that on my crew. We're gonna change the world." And King says, like, "Do you think you can change the world?" And he says, "I'm the only one who can." And does Kaido have more noble intentions than we thought? And even though he's torturing Wano, he wants to declare war on this evil world government. Is he actually kind of an anti-hero good guy?
Well, I think we might have talked last volume about, with Big Mom and saying, okay, she has really inherent redeeming qualities of what she's gone through. She really came from the most precarious beginnings, abuse, and all kinds of horrible things to ascend to this incredible strength. Now, when she's doing the soul pecora or whatever in this volume and like eating everybody's life force to become
Soul
strong, you
Pocus.
know, yeah, soul focus. Yeah, it might be a little bit. Okay, maybe that's not the most admirable thing, but in any case, the what is that the ends the ends justify the means, perhaps. But it's hard to say, I guess. Right at any point, anytime somebody's hurt and suffering, it's like, okay, well, you got to kind of be fair and balanced, maybe sometimes. But we saw, the Big Mom Kaido alliance against the world government was on the table here earlier in Wano. We see what the world government does. They're deleting history. They're hiding things from us. They go to murder small children in their homes because they might be too intelligent and know too much about how to solve the problems that the world government is really trying to keep active for their own benefit.
Yeah, even
Um,
Kaido didn't kill Tama when he came across her. Even Kaido said, "Hey, Momo, just lie to me and I won't kill you." Like, he's reluctant to kill children, at least. The world government just does it. Kaido's less evil than our government as well. What? Who said that?
it's yeah, no drone strikes from King. He's not pulling his beak back in front of children's schools and stuff like that. He's doing it, just uh,
Against men who declared war on him. I think that's fair.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a bit of a sticky situation, as we get further in the story here, and sort of the great powerful enemies are right there in front of us. We don't necessarily have too much more beyond the emperors, like in their realm, right? Like we're here, we're going against them because we want to be king of the pirates, but on that other level, like the different political side of things, we have this whole other series of elements that's going on. The rich and powerful, the people who are manipulating history, that are enslaving good people and doing horrible things to so many. And it's kind of like it's almost it kind of goes to like the point that sometimes people will make, and we were saying this earlier with like the sun, moon, and star pirates, all having their different kind of identities and grievances. Is there's an argument to even be made here as well, at a grander scale, that these grievances between our people that are in this power struggle trying to become the greatest of all time, they've already been provenly manipulated by a higher power. Are we all just people that need to unite? Could Kaido and Luffy, maybe after the dust settles, maybe Doflamingo, he's still alive, he gets out. Doflamingo's kind of evil, though, and I guess he's kind of born of the Celestial Dragon class. So, anyways,
But he
um,
wants vengeance on them. He might take down one of the government bad guys just out of spite, not out of loyalty to Luffy.
that is
We
true.
need some wild cards thrown into the final war who might you take out good and bad guys left and right.
I think and then you have to, I suppose, consider that maybe there could be some people that get paid off by the top dogs to, cause disdain and chaos among the ranks. But maybe one day I could see it happening as I kind of contemplate some more, to kind of look at the bigger picture. We're what the establishment fears. Kaido and Luffy going, "I got your back, brother," and doing a knuckle fist, and then pulling up at Marijoa.
I would love to see in the final war Big Mom and Kaido on Luffy's side, just wreaking havoc on Marineford #2 or whatever. It would be so extremely epic. I mean, even if Momo was there too, and we have two epic dragons, and then like Big Mom on her Hera female cloud now or whatever, with Luffy right there in the middle. That's as epic as the Impel Down panel with like Crocodile and Jinbei and all them.
I'm thinking it could be one day, but right now, in the meantime, I mean, the gears are in motion. We are flying a crumbling, exploding island of death over the
A big
capital of
party.
the samurai. So these people, they do have to, they've got their own culture, they've got their own history, their own traditions, their own codes that are being completely destroyed in the midst of all this. So, well, this great utopia that we dream of, we kind of have to, deal with reality first, as is always such the case. Um, but I really enjoyed, the last panel here of the volume with King. He's summoning this great fiery dragon, which is an incredibly epic attack of its own in its own right. But Zoro doing the 103 mercies. I don't know. Is it because we're about to hit volume 103? I'm not 100% sure what the number they're supposed to be referencing, but this like chain slash turning the dragon into looking like a sushi roll, blasted through every bit of it. You know, it could have just done like a one single slash, but just all the extraness of it to strike at the heart of King. Yeah, it was
Epic.
pretty epic.
He wanted to slay Kaido as a dragon, but might have to settle for this magma dragon instead. Another minor theme, perhaps, of the volume is these awakenings, like Sanji is awakening these latent abilities in his body. Zoro, with his little flashback to the past, is awakening like, oh, a curse sword is actually just a sword that weak people are scared of because they're pussies, and you should embrace it. Like, oh, hell yeah, let's do it. And then Law and Kid have both awakened their devil fruits and used their awakened abilities on Big Mom. And it looks pretty badass, but Big Mom just gets right back up like nothing happened. Law's ability, awakened ability, is K room, I guess. And he stabs like a translucent sword all the way through a giant Big Mom and then is like shocking her on the inside. Seems like more of the shit he's always been doing. I'm not super impressed with this as an awakening, whatever it is. Did you have a different impression of what he was doing here?
Well, I mean, like compared to Sanji here, like if he's like inherently having, you know, what his scientific supplement was providing him before, and just like it's a total personality change, possibly like literally having giant swords just breaking over his neck, and he's like, oh, okay, well, I'll get completely crushed by horrible snake suffocation, every single bone broken, and you get up and just your bones just like kind of shake themselves out. Oh, cool. Yeah, then K Room is just basically like it would be like how Mihawk has his like homing attack with his sword. If all of a sudden like it was just, you know, instead of launching it off, if he like applied it to you like with a melee attack or something, I don't know, like if he like had it all like built up and his sword like hit you and then like unleashed the big energy blast that tears the ground up like inside of you. That's, I guess that's kind of like what I feel like that would maybe be something like. So yeah, the imbuing. I know I was talking about elemental imbuing, the curse imbuing. Yeah, an imbuing attack of just basically what you already do, but now slightly different.
And then
Yeah,
Kid
it's
Kid can make anything
magnetic.
magnetized, so then like all the steel beams just like collide into her, but it doesn't hurt her because she's a fucking steel blimp, as we've been told a million times. So she's fine.
But,
She gets up and like just to counter their strongest possible attacks, their awakenings, she says, "Okay, fuck it. I'm gonna eat 1 year of my own remaining lifespan." After we just talked last episode about sacrificing your lifespan in these manga anime scenarios. Like Big Mom, you don't have a lot of years left. Like, do you think you're about to die in this fight? You're eating one entire year just to become a kaiju giant scary monster woman? Is there any way that these two can defeat her now that their strongest attacks didn't do shit, and now she's like 20 times more powerful?
well, I know we already had it dropped off the side at the beginning of our ascent on Onigishima. All I'm saying is the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And yeah, maybe I don't know if Kid can like magnetize two things at the same time, but maybe there's something to say about that. Like maybe he could have like a big structure that's magnetized, maybe in a polarized way that it would attract Big Mom to it. Then maybe he could like I don't know, have that magnetized to something that like that's falling off, or I could see some sort of thing there, or maybe they could lock. I guess it's pretty much exactly how yeah the whole thing went down with her a couple volumes ago, where they have to set up like this kind of 1, 2, 3, and they blast her off before. But maybe if there's a magnetic element, and she's also shockwaved at the same time, and maybe also roomed at the same time, um,
Can
maybe
he have a connection, a magnetic connection with her and the moon, and she goes flying to the moon and gets stuck to it?
that would be a great way to go about it. It would be very Kino. You know what? Eneru and Big Mom linked up. I do need that. That'd be Kino. They come back down after the Wano arc is settled. They're flying back down on clouds. Mm.
Okay, Iggy,
Um,
if we have Law and Kid awakening their devil fruits to fight the Yonko, do we think Luffy will do the same against Kaido?
I think he definitely should, and it kind of makes. I mean, I guess you could say maybe his gears are kind of his awakenings. So maybe the fact that he's at Gear 4, Monkey Man, Snake Man, he might have already been, lapping people, which he pretty much has been regardless because his power level is so much more significant. But I guess if there were a time to kind of get in with the rest of the crowd, now would be the time. And at the very least, I guess like another one of his Gear 4 forms to utilize here. Because I've heard of a mythical potential gear even beyond 4. I don't know anything about it yet. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know when it could ever possibly
And you
happen,
can't
but
even count that high, so you have no clue what it might be.
that's right.
What
It's
could come next?
so really for my own education, I'm hoping, so I can learn what that next number is. If there
You
is
learned how to
one,
count using your hands, but you have Simpsons hands, so it's like just only four. Like, ah, fuck.
a big fat palm and 3 grippers and one
That's all
one
you
opposable.
need. Yeah, why do you have pinkies are useless? Aggie, I think we've covered everything worth covering in this volume. Like we have Hiyori back from the dead as a ghost, Komo Gisuri, whatever the fucking stupid name was, playing a song for Orochi. Whatever, we'll see what becomes of that. But anything else before I tease you about the next volume?
Well, of course, I think we did allude to it, spoke on it a little bit, but I'll just give it one time proper recognition. Rob Lucci, bigger and badder than ever.
And they want Robin, goddammit! They can't
That's right.
have her. Brooke says, hell no. He's my hero, my white knight, because he's made of bone, as white as a knight can be. Aggie, I don't want to be too dramatic. I don't want to get your expectations too high. But what if I told you volume 103 next week or maybe in 2 days, knowing us?
Right.
Uh, it's kind of an Annie's Lobby-esque twist that almost changes the genre, changes the tone of the story at least forever in a major way.
So starting to set up Sanji's ascent into Giga Incel Hitler with Vegapunk that I talked about is almost guaranteed to happen.
In the same way that reading volume 100 was like so tense and suspenseful, like every time you turn the page you're terrified for what horrible thing you might see next. This is an epic flipping of the script where you're so excited to turn the page because you're laughing so hard and you know that something even more funny is going to be on the next page. Volume 103 has some of the biggest guffaws and laugh out loud moments I've ever had in the series. I mean, just some of these panels have stuck with me so well, so fucking funny. So I'm not saying I hope you appreciate it. I have a feeling you will, but I only spoil it because Oda couldn't resist putting it even on the fucking volume cover, so you're gonna see it before you read another chapter anyway, more or less. But it's I love it. I love it. We'll see what Aggie thinks next time.
Well, I look forward to that because recently I'm no longer coughing as I once was for the last like 3 weeks straight. So, my chest and back muscles are no longer feeling constant as pain from coughing fits. So I should be more than ready to appreciate some good old, very hearty chuckles deep in the pit of my stomach and lungs and so on and so forth. I'm looking forward to
Well,
it.
and
Something probably.
I know you love Looney Tunes style. I mean, you liked it when King was pulling his head. I know you love Tom and Jerry style, carnage and violence. I mean, this is going to be your favorite thing ever. And it's like a permanent change to what One Piece even is. And it's so amazing. It's so good. Anything else you want to say today before we do our plugs and get out of here?
Well, I'm just excited now. I think we probably will end up doing that 103 in just a couple of days because if it's that good, I love a good laugh, and we can always use it, folks. You know what? Laughter is truly the seasoning that gives life a reasoning. So lay it on me, Oda Sensei, my true hero.
Okay, what's the plug this week, Aggie? I hear that
I
you're
think
sick of YouTube. You're saying fuck streaming on YouTube now, or are you just banned temporarily?
Well, this is it is an actual It is an actual temporary ban for the time being. In the midst of the fact I was watching, many different questionable things. Somebody sent in like a little clip from a rap video, like a TikTok, just a little clip, and it was a guy holding up like a censored gun, like, yeah, if I see the haters, I'm gonna shoot them. Yeah, that's how I do them. Whatever. It's really so like inconsequential for like 10 seconds. Didn't even think anything of it, compared to what I would usually be saying and doing anyway. All of a sudden, I get the email or like people because I got two chats going at the same time. One chat's blowing up out of nowhere. I clicked at my phone, got a notification that says, we've struck your content down for firearm policy. They said that
Oh
they
my
determined
God.
that was actually me aiming a gun at the camera and threatening to kill somebody, according to YouTube. So I watched the rap video. They thought that was actually the guy in the video for 5 seconds was me instead of the other many hours of me being there. So I was like, man, fuck, and I just can't do it right now too for like a week or whatever because of the ban. But when I do it live on kick.com/2eggwhite, that's right, kick.com/2eggwhite, I get that hourly rate doubled to only stream there exclusively. So basically, dozens of dollars per stream, beyond donations, power chats, gifted subs, whatever else. So it's got the lucrative component to it. The fact there's nothing really copyrighted. Yeah, you could still technically, if like the actual copyright owner, like if I go watch Citizen Vigilante and Uwe Ball sees that and says,
He's not gonna see shit.
He could, in theory, ask for it to be taken down. I don't think I would even get a penalty for that, however. But we watched, it's a whole thing on there because they say if you're watching movies, then you're supposed to turn off your like guaranteed hourly rate. You can still get donations and stuff, but they say like it's kind of murky for them to pay me to like steal somebody else's content exactly. So if you don't turn it off, they might just like not compensate you if they're aware that you're just watching movies and it's still having it turned on. They might just not give
You
it,
just
like,
do that half the time. It's not a big deal.
Exactly. So that's why I was doing it frame in frame while also playing video games so that I had plausible deniability.
I didn't even know it was playing in the corner, officer. I was just playing Call of Duty.
That's right.
That's playing World of Warcraft.
Is when you set up on Kick, they ask you to like set your basal, quality rate. And they do ask for about triple of the baseline that YouTube does, which sounds bad, but it's really nothing nowadays with unless you're like on some old janky Starlink or something, almost everybody that's on there can do it. And I wouldn't even think to put it so high for the quality because I would be a little concerned, like, oh, do I even need it that high? That's what they ask you to do. But it works out. You have like zero lag. The chat, it's like a instant transmission versus YouTube where it's taking, 20 seconds for a message to show up on screen or whatever, things like that. So YouTube, I'll give them a lot of, they've done a lot for me. They've done, they made me who I am today. I appreciate it, but they are definitely slacking, in the live stream game. I'll say that much anyway. They got to get their stream quality up for sure.
They need to get the quality of everything on this hellhole up. But folks, go support your boy on Kick at, what would you say it was 1 egg white or 2 egg white?
2 egg white, because I made an account of 1 egg white, like, I don't know, a couple years ago when I was thinking about using it then. And for some reason, the like verification email just never showed up after I kept requesting it. Sometimes I've heard that happens. It's not the first time I've heard it, but I came back to Twitter's 2 egg white. I said, okay, then I can be 2 egg white on both platforms. It all works out.
You've got 2 eggs, 2 huevos in there anyway. You don't want to be a 1 huevo man. Folks, that's volume 102. We're all hyped as fuck for 103. I know the whole audience is just desperately waiting for us to get there, so we'll probably be there for the members sooner than later. One piece, people!